Charlie Dickens, Charlie Dickens, Chapter 10, Charlie's Home. They separated at the crossroads, and then they promised to meet up tomorrow as their first day of freedom. As soon as Charlie opened his bright red front door, he was overcome by the wonderful smell of fish fingers and peas. It was one of his favorite meals, and in an instant he began to salivate like Pavlov's dog, and his stomach was rumbling like Vesuvius. He was so hungry that he didn't think that he could wait. He sat staring at the white plate, and he drummed his fingers on the table. Patience wasn't one of his strong points. "Don't drum your fingers," said his mum, as she brought in the lovely, crispy, sizzling fish fingers. His mum smiled. She was pleased. Charlie shoved them into his mouth a little too quickly, and he burnt his tongue. He quickly grabbed for his glass of water while his mum had her back to him, as she was diligently washing the dishes. He didn't want to appear foolish. His mum, Jane, had married young, and as soon as Charlie was born, her husband, Sid, slowly and deliberately planned his escape like he was getting out of prison. It was as if he was embarrassed to be a dad. And before Charlie was 1 year old, he had vanished for good, and by the time that Charlie was 5, it was as if his dad had never existed. Charlie grew up without a dad, but he never told his mum how much he missed having a father figure in his life. She was too busy reading and living in her fantasy world to notice. Pretty soon, Charlie drifted into a dream world of his own. It was a world of comics, and his favorite was Spider-Man. This was because Spidey was strong apart from being able to fly with ease, and he could also apprehend villains before they struck. Charlie popped the last fish finger into his mouth, and he wondered what he was going to do for the rest of the evening. As soon as Jane had finished washing up, she sat back in her favorite armchair and she picked up a heavy novel, which covered her face, and then she dissolved into its pages. Charlie didn't hold it against her. He often found the world too hard to cope with, and he returned to his comics.